Hello and welcome to another little tutorial video. In this tutorial I would like to share with you what I do when I receive a new instrument. Doesn't matter if I already have 10 or it's my first handpan. So whenever I receive a new instrument, I will find ways how to get closer to the instrument, to get to know it, right? So one approach for me would be to write down things and figure out all the notes, which of course for many people would be like overwhelming, like why I don't need notes, why should I write down notes? I'm not a musician, I don't have a musical background. It doesn't fucking matter, trust me. This is a very handy approach to get to know notes. What does it mean? How can I use them in a very simple manner? So this is a F-Low Pygmy 19, but it works with any scale. And of course there is many notes here, right? It's full of notes. If you have an instrument full of notes, perfect, then it will be very simple to transpose this video. But if you have just top shell without these three notes on top, is also perfectly fine. It works same, okay? So let's jump into it. I will change the camera view so you have a view on the papers that I prepared for you guys. So here we are. Basically, the things that you need is a couple of papers and your handpan and the pen and yourself. Anyway. So, here it is. I recommend you to make a drawing, maybe use different colors, whatever. Write your scale and make a drawing of your handpan with more or less the position of the notes, okay? And as you can see, for the bottom notes, if you have bottom notes, I make an extra kind of a arrow, right? And I write the bottom note there, because I like to have everything on one paper. You could also definitely write on a second paper, the bottom shell, but I like to do it like this. And then I write all the notes, okay? Ba 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 bum, 19 notes. The first thing that we can figure out is basically that there is a few notes that are same. Like here and here, for example. It's 2 times an F. What does it mean on my instrument? Where is it? Okay, with this? This is a F. It's a F3. And here, this is this note here. It's also an F. What does it mean? It's the same note, but it don't sound the same, kind of. Well, it is the same note, but exactly double the frequency. It means that it's just an octave higher. And I have another one here. Wow, I have 3 octaves right here. What do I do with this? Well, I would just play it. So you memorize notes on your pan, and that's really important and really nice to have if you know them by heart, by playing the octaves. And of course, you will wonder what for. Doesn't matter. You don't need to know now. You will figure out in time that this will be very, very helpful for you. So the idea is that you learn by heart all the notes, and a really nice approach to do this is to play the octaves. So I would start to play like from down to up, as if you would play the scale upwards, right? You do the same, but you're playing the octaves. I will show you this in a second. So you will play the octaves up and down on your pan, and this is a way of learning all the notes. Okay. So to give you a broader explanation of the octave. So this is a keyboard, and basically we have 12 notes on a Western chromatic scale, and that's the big difference between a handpan and other musical instruments like a piano or a keyboard. Because a keyboard is chromatic, you have all the notes, and on the handpan you are limited to a certain number of notes, and that's why they are called scales. And that means that a few notes are left out and they create already a mood. That's a scale. Basically, even if you have a lot of keys on a piano, you only have 12 notes and they repeat all the time. So usually we talk about C to C. So we start on C and then you go 12 notes, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is a B, and the next one will be a C again, right? So it will just repeat again. Okay, and again and again again. So the same principle works for the handpan. We also have octaves. So if I have a C here, I will have another C here. It's the same note, but just 12 semitones higher, an octave higher, right? So with that said, let's transition to the pan again. All right, so we're back on the pan, and I'm gonna show you a little bit what I meant by playing the octaves up and down, right? So we are aware that the scale goes up like that, right? So playing the octaves will be the same thing. So whenever you have an octave, you will play it in the sequence of the scale up. So first of all, you have to memorize how your scale goes up, okay? And the easy approach, in case you have bottom notes, maybe restrain from the bottom notes for now. Just play only the top shell. Try to find all the octaves that you have on the top shell and try to play this up and down, you know? So in my case, it would be like this. F, G, A flat, C, E flat, F, and G, right? This is a pentatonic scale. That means that I have only 5 notes and all the rest are octaves. So a lot of octaves happening here. It's really nice. Right? Of course, you just exercise this very, very slowly, up and down. You go. Once you're up, you come back down. Right? Maybe double hits. Maybe even much slower. Okay? And of course, you're always here with your sheet. This is next to you. Okay, this paper is next to you, so you can always look it up. Where is the next octave? Because you have to memorize first. But trust me, if you do this exercise and you fuck around with the scale up and down playing the octaves, after some time you will know the notes by heart. Because then you know this is the low F, and immediately you know this is the next higher F, and there's another high F here. Right? So you wonder, what the fuck will I do with this? Well, it's very handy because the octaves always sound kind of more massive. You do whatever, you play whatever, something, and I will start adding octaves. So the higher notes I'm playing are just octaves. I was playing 2 chords back and forward, and the rest were just octaves. And it's a sound so massive. And it's super nice. You can always add a little sequence of octaves. Is something I do very often. So, and of course, if you go further, you will go full scale. You will play the octaves full scale. In my case, would be something like this, right? Up and down. And of course, not every scale has so many octaves like mine. Um, and it can become overwhelming at some point if you have so many. So I recommend to make it in sections. Let's say maybe the first few couple of octaves from down up, you play them and you start to memorize. Okay, okay, next one is this, next one is okay, this. Okay, maybe I play it down again. Only this part, only this sequence, not the full scale, because it can become too overwhelming. So maybe after some time, you have the lower part until the middle of the scale, more or less, let's say, and then you start from the top. Okay? Because it's more easy to connect what you have from the bottom, like you know the lower part of the scale, playing the octaves up until a certain part, because the sequence is shorter, you don't do the full scale, and then you do from top, from up, down, and after some time you will be able to connect these two. And then you have the full sequence of the entire scale, playing the octaves up and down. And then there's many ways of playing the octaves up and down. Again, like, dive into the rabbit hole. You can play the octaves together. You can play first the low and then the high, or the high and then the low. So octaves together, we already heard it, right? First the low one, first the high one, so this will also increase the challenge and the difficulty, and will give you an even more deeper understanding of what the hell you can do with your hands and this instrument, right? Okay, so with that said, I think with this you're ready to explore and get to know your own instrument, which you love so much, right? It's a way of getting intimate with a new handpan, or even an old one that you have since a long time, but you kind of lost the connection. It's it's a very fruitful approach, and you will just learn hell a lot of things, and it will bring you on a very very nice place with your musical journey. So enjoy, guys. Much love.